Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our first show, Men Talk. We will be interviewing Otterbein men each month. We have some amazing, intelligent, and fun men. Hope you will enjoy this as much as I did. Always pray to have eyes that see the best in people, a heart that forgives the worst, a mind that forgives the bad, and a soul that never loses faith in God. Amen. My first guest is someone you know and love as much as I do. Here's Jerry Ferguson, my guest. Thank you for being with me. I'm looking forward to it. Please have a seat.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate being here. I really do.
We want to hear all about you.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a good thing to do. I will try to describe myself in 4 different arenas, 4 different segments. And one is, the first one would be my youth. Okay, I'll try to talk a little bit about my youth and what all the things that happened to me then. And then my career and my college would be the second thing. And then my family, talk about my family. And then talk about me here at Otterbein.
Wonderful.
And all the things that Otterbein represents. So we can start out by saying that I was born in a community about 30 miles north of here, outside of Dayton, Ohio. It's called Beaver Creek Township. It's between Dayton and Xenia. And I was born on a huge farm. I was a farm boy. And interestingly enough, the first 8 years of my life, we did not have electricity.
Oh.
We did not. And so I remember studying by these coal oil lamps. That was the only light we had. And so that was kind of neat there. And since we lived on a big farm, my only playmate was, we didn't have many close neighbors. My only playmate was my sister, who was a year younger than I. And the poor thing, I got her to play baseball with me. How can 2 people play a game of baseball? We made up baseball. I remember baseball, but I don't remember how we played it. I just really don't. But we played it. But I wouldn't play with her dolls. She wanted me to play with her dolls and so forth. And on that side note, I was just out to see her. She lives in California. And I was just out to see her recently to make sure that before one of us die, that we at least get to hug one another. It's been a long time since I've actually talked to her in person, talked to her on the phone a lot. So that was a really, really neat trip.
Good.
Really had a good time on that trip.
How long were you there?
I've been in California a lot, and I didn't go to do any sightseeing or anything. I just wanted to spend a couple, 3 days with her. I was there 3 days, I think it was.
Perfect.
Flew out, had great times, and flew back.
What location?
She's in L.A.
L.A.
Yeah. So, she was a really good kid. Had a harder life than I did. I had a blessed life. I'll talk about that. Really a blessed life. So, but my grandparents lived close. All my grandparents lived close. And so I did get to see my grandparents and my aunts and uncles and cousins a lot.
Good.
While I was growing up. And so that made for the social interaction and so forth. When I was in school, I did really, really well in school. I got very, very good grades in school. And I remember going to a couple of competitions. There was one competition it was called the Ohio State Scholastic District competition. And I got 7th place in math.
Wow.
And I even had one of my teachers tell me that you're really close to being gifted in math.
Wow.
And it just came natural to me. It just really came natural. So then I played the trumpet when I was in school. I was in a marching band, and that's when you could be in the marching band and you could play football at the same time. You could. It was different then. I was a marching band, concert band, and then there was a county band that was over in Xenia that I played in during the summers. And that was fun. I had a good time in that. I competed in annual music contests where I played the trumpet, and I did really well there.
Okay.
So everything really worked out well. And since I was on the farm, I was in a 4-H. So we were on a dairy farm. And so I took animals to the county fair. And one year one of my heifers got grand champion.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, it was really, really great.
Sound like a great childhood.
It was, and then it grew into my teen years, and I played football for Beaver Creek, and I actually played on a championship team. We won the league when I was a senior in high school, and so those are memories. And I still see one person that I played football with on that team, and I still see him. We go out to eat once in a while, but there's not very many of us left.
I'm afraid that's true. That is true.
So that kind of sums up that part of my youth, I guess we'll call it that. And then I think I wanted to talk a little bit about my career and my college and so forth.
Yes.
So I did not want to stay on the farm. I told my dad that I really didn't want to continue on and be a farmer, and that's the only thing that he really wanted to do his whole life. So I went to work at the National Cash Register Company, or NCR, and I went to school at University of Dayton. I have 2 degrees at University of Dayton, one in mechanical engineering and one in electrical engineering. And again, I did really, really well there. I was inducted into the National Honor Society.
Yes.
The Tau Alpha Pi chapter of National Honor Society. So, and I have a PE license, professional engineering license.
Okay.
So that's a 2-day test that you take in Columbus at that time, and that was actually the hardest thing I have ever taken.
Really?
It was an open book test, which should be a alarm bell goes off when you have an open book test, just because they really, really test you. And there were guys. I remember a guy come walking in with a pull wagon, and he had all kinds of books in it and so forth. And you had a time limit, so you couldn't just spend all your time researching and going through the books and finding stuff. You had to kind of know where it was at, and it was really tough. So, but I did all right. I did really well. And then at NCR, it was just another great adventure. Had a great career at NCR. Just so many neat people, so many neat projects that I worked on. The first ATM that NCR manufactured was started in Dayton, and I was on that project team, and have some great memories of working with other engineers and myself working on problems with the new thing, because all we had when I worked at NCR initially, it was basically on banking machines. They called them passbook withdrawal machines, where you go in. Back in the old days, you used to go in and take a passbook with you, put it in a machine. You could put money in, you could take money out, and they would post that, print it on your passbook and so forth. So this was a new venture in that, as we were working on something that was more like the security aspect of ATMs, okay, because you had cash in them. So there was some interesting stories about that.
What would we do without the ATM?
Well, it was interesting. My boss, at that time, got assigned the project, and he wanted me to head it up, and he wouldn't. He said, you need to participate in this. So I had to go and get a card from my bank and go and get an account, and then actually start using a competitor's ATM. And yeah, so it was a really great learning experience for me.
Yeah, I would say
really
yes.
Good learning experience. So, one of the other aspects about working there was, I talked about this banking machine, and it was called a passbook posting machine. And one project that I got on, I was working on this, and I was working at NCR as a product engineering designer.
Okay.
So I designed cash registers or these banking machines. And one of the projects that I was on was this machine, and the idea was to go in and transact a business cycle where you would go in and put money in the bank. So you would go in and hand the cashier the money and your passbook. They would take your money, put it in the drawer, and then they would put this passbook into a machine, and then the machine would print what you had just done.
Okay.
And it prints your new balance and everything else.
And you designed that?
I worked on that, yes. And one of the things that the new project was, let's see if we can take that machine and electrify it, make it more or less digital as we have today. People can relate to that. And we were just coming into the age at that time of having satellites.
Oh,
So the idea was, go in and do the transaction, and don't complete the transaction, but send the transaction to the satellite.
Yes.
Have the satellite send it back and tell the machine then to go ahead and print it.
that's amazing.
It is, and they actually displayed that at the World's Fair
Oh,
up
did
in
they?
New York. Yes, and so I got to go and be part of that and so forth.
That was
it
an
really fun.
adventure.
It was really great. So I spent most of my career in the manufacturing and engineering side of the business. The last 5 years of my career, I transitioned over into the quality side of the business, and that was really rewarding. It was really rewarding. So I got to
How
do
many years did you have with NCR?
NCR? 43 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I worked for them for 43 years. And so, yeah, it was great. One of the last things that happened before I retired was that I won the Chairman's Award, which was given out to a few people in the company at that time, and had an all expenses trip paid to Dubai.
Oh, my goodness.
Dubai.
Wow.
So yeah, it was really kind of neat. So my wife and I went on this trip, and before we planned ahead, so we left early because she wanted to do some genealogy work on her side of the family in Germany. So we stopped over in Germany and did that work, and then went on to Dubai. And wow, what an interesting country. What an interesting country.
Rich country.
Money everywhere. Money was everywhere. So that was really fun. It was really fun. So my career was great, and then I retired from there, as I said, and I think that's probably about it. I was also, during that time, I was involved in a lot of different businesses, and I own part ownership in a office supply warehouse in Florida. I was part owner of a company here in Dayton, two companies in Dayton. One was a warehouse for automobile parts, and all this time, and there was another one I was involved in, part ownership of a sailboat company, where we would buy, we'd be a distributor of sailboats and so forth, because I was heavily involved in sailing at that time. So
that's how you got interested in boating then, pretty much.
Yeah, I got interested in boating very, very early in my marriage. Very early, and I was quite young. The kids were really young, and I bought this little boat, this little sailboat. I still have it.
Oh, you should have brought a picture. Yes,
it's in my garage.
Wow.
Here at Otterbein.
That's
I got
great.
so much stuffed in my garage. So I guess that's probably about.
At this point, you might, so we have some new people here.
Okay.
Tell them about Duffy just briefly.
Oh, the boat?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the boat was Armco Park. Let me back up a little bit. But Armco Park was owned by Armco Steel or AK Steel, and they decided they wanted to get rid of it or sell it, and so forth. In order to keep the land developers from buying it and then putting houses and so forth and docks
Yes.
all around it, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, Turtle Creek Township, Warren County Parks, and Otterbein all kicked in a bunch of money and bought it,
Great.
and with the sole purpose that it become a county park and stay a county park. So at that same time, the chairman of the board of trustees here at Otterbein bought this boat and donated it, and it's the Duffy boat, and he donated it to Otterbein
Wonderful.
to use however they could, so that the employees and the residents could take boat rides and so forth. So we had just moved off of a lake in Georgia, because we lived in Gainesville, Georgia for some time, and when I was employed at NCR down there, and I had just moved off of a huge lake in Gainesville, Georgia, Lake Lanier, and here's this boat here, and I kind of got together with some of the staff and administration here at Otterbein, and we decided that I could start a program of giving boat rides.
I
So
didn't
that's-
know any of that. That's
Yeah,
very
that's
interesting.
kind of how it started, and that was like 12, 13 years ago. It's a long time ago.
And you can take a ride on this boat if you call the program office
Right,
and
right.
get an appointment,
Yeah,
because they
there's-
only take so many.
There's sign-up sheets.
I
There's
did it
sign-up
last
sheets on
year.
there.
It's great.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you had a good time.
We did.
We've had a lot of people that have ridden the boat, some more than once, certainly, and it's been a joy to me, because I really enjoy being on the water, I enjoy boating, so forth, and then I'm able to give back something to Otterbein. It's part of my volunteering. It's some part of my
Exactly,
passion.
exactly.
Yeah. So
Well, that's interesting. I like that too, because I didn't know a lot about that.
right. So let's see. My family. Oh gosh, I was married for 61 years.
Wow.
And have 2 sons and their families, and have 7 grandchildren. And as a matter of fact, I just finished up last week and last weekend going to high school, college degrees, and master's degrees, all graduations, all happened last week and last weekend. So I
That's
was very
amazing.
busy, and you said you were going to go.
I'm
to
going
graduation.
Thursday. I'm going Thursday to my grandson's graduation from high school.
Yes,
High
that's just absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it was my youngest granddaughter graduated from high school, and the rest of my grandchildren, like I said, and she went to the same school that I graduated from. So she graduated from the same school
That's
I graduated.
good.
My dad graduated from that
That's
school.
tradition.
So yeah, we've been there a long, long time. So, but like I said, I'm really blessed.
How long have you lived at Otterbein?
We moved into Otterbein, let's see if I can get this right, 13 years ago.
One question. What's your favorite thing about Otterbein, if you can get it down to one?
I wish I could. That's a good question. I would like to put it in the things about Otterbein that you like, and there's more than one. I really like the care and the concern that the senior staff and the administration and all the partners give to the residents here. It's really comforting, I'll put it that way. And it really helps my 2 sons and my families understand that Dad, Grandpa is going to be taken care of. He's not sitting somewhere in a condo.
Bored.
Yeah, bored, nothing to do.
Right.
And that's the other thing, is that there's so much stuff to do here.
My kids were very happy I moved here too, for the same reasons.
Yes.
My favorite place probably is the pavilion.
Isn't it neat?
I love to go up there on Sunday and sit and
Yeah.
read a book or something. But I mean, there's so many things, it's hard to pin it down.
It really is. It really is. So but
Now we're on to passions.
yeah, we can do that. And well, in my marriage and up until even I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, my wife and I have been a lot of different places. I've traveled everywhere. For business, I've been everywhere. I've been in Singapore, Germany, Scotland,
Really?
Canada,
Really?
Austria, Italy, Taiwan. I'm reading them off here. Just because I couldn't remember them all.
No,
And then our pleasure trips, we've been everywhere. It seems like we've been out west, a wonderful western trip for a little old poor country boy like me, to take a trip out west and go around was like a whole brand new experience for me, because I'm just used to the dirt and sun and winters of Ohio, and not out west. And so we did that out west, and been to Alaska, Nova Scotia,
of course.
Key West, Israel, Dubai. I talked about Dubai,
Oh,
Haiti.
that's really,
Yeah.
but I love the States. I love to travel the States.
Yes, and so it's really, really good. So, and I guess the other thing about me and my life and so on, I didn't know if you knew this, but I am a cancer survivor.
No,
Yes, I
that
am.
was
I'm a
very
cancer
interesting.
survivor.
How
So-
long? Approximately.
How long has it been? 15 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
That should be very encouraging to people facing
I
that.
hope so.
I
hope
hope
so.
so, too.
I really hope so. So currently, my passions here are the church,
Yes, you
and,
sing in the choir.
singing in the choir. I've sang all my life. It seems like I've been around music all my life. My mom was a big influence in that, and her side of the family hails from Wales, the country of Wales. Wales is noted for having good voices. I don't know why.
Really?
I really don't know why, but that's one of the legends about people of Welsh background, is that they have good singing voices. So, and that's carried down through, I think. So,
Bob Bounds does the drums. Why don't you do the trumpet sometime?
because I can't.
Oh, why?
I was in an automobile accident, and I had my front teeth knocked out.
Oh.
And I have a bridge, but and I tried to play the trumpet after. It's just not
that's
the
a
same.
shame.
Just not
That's
the same.
too bad.
Yeah, I would like to do that. So I enjoy the garden here. I have a garden, and I really enjoy doing that. And I just planted some sweet corn, and I'll be planting some pumpkins, and planted tomatoes, and okra, and zucchini, and peppers. And about
Once
ready
you
to
get
put.
started, you can't stop. You just
Yeah,
keep
you say,
planting and
I'll try
planting.
this, I'll try that. So, and as a kid growing up, I was out in the fields with my dad, working on the farm, and my mom and my sister took care of the gardens. So I didn't really know much about gardening,
I
and
see.
it's been so much fun here, because my expectations are like about that. I just have fun, and if something comes up, good. If it doesn't, that's good. If the sweet corn comes up and the raccoons get part of it, that's okay.
So-
They can have part
don't
of it
mention
too.
raccoons.
Oh, is that right? Oh, God.
We won't go there this time. We'll talk about that next week.
Oh, gee. Well, we've talked about a lot of things.
How about chess?
Dave Dunlap, a new resident here, formed a chess club, and I'm involved in that. And I've played chess for a long time.
did you?
Yeah, a long time, and really enjoy it. And it's kind of neat to get back to it and to find somebody that likes to play, and they play on a weekly basis here, and they play up in the Cribbage Cove, and it's a lot of fun.
Good.
It's very learning. The idea is to not be cutthroat or brutal or anything like that. The idea is not to even
Don't be competitive.
well, you can be competitive, but knowing that even if you're really, really very good, you are always learning something, something new. I guarantee you will learn something. Your opponent will do something, and you'll say to yourself, "I don't think I've ever seen that before."
I'll be darned.
And I've learned something, because either that's a mistake and I can take advantage of it, or he's really pushing me hard. So you learn from the chess, so I enjoy that. One of my other passions that I've had for years is genealogy.
Oh, really?
Genealogy, yes. I've been tracing my family back for years and years and years. So I talked about the Fergusons being in Beaver Creek. They were in Beaver Creek since 1850.
Oh.
That's when my 2 times great-grandfather moved to Beaver Creek, to Greene County, to Beaver Creek Township. His dad and his mom, my 3 times great-grandfather and great-grandmother, in 1826 moved from the state of Delaware to Ohio with 7 boys, 7 other children that were in ages from 1 to 12.
Oh my goodness.
Why, and I've never been able to come up with an answer, why would someone do this?
Because
Why
they
would
liked
you?
Ohio.
But how? Well, it was an arduous trip. That was.
Oh, I'm
it was
sure.
tough. And but why in the world would you do it? And there's a lot of reasons about people migrating. Go west, young man. It didn't mean that you were going to California. It just means that you probably were going to go across the Appalachian Mountains
Right.
somehow. You're going to do that and wind up in Kentucky, Virginia, some of the Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, and settle there. So that's probably about that it. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, many.
Oh, okay.
Let me think. I was thinking, well, as far as traveling out west, did you and your wife drive that?
Yes, we had a motorhome.
Oh, you had a motorhome.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we had a motorhome. And my son had just turned 16 right before that trip. And so when we were out in, I think it was the Dakotas, the roads are like straight, you could see for miles and miles. We said, it's time for you to learn how to drive a motorhome. You know driving a car and stuff. So we turned him loose in the motorhome for a while and so forth.
That was
So
good.
he still talks about that.
Yeah, that was
Still
good
talks. He had a
experience for
good time.
him.
Had a really good.
Did you get to Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
Did you? And
Yes.
tell us about that.
Well, I remember that as being something that was on a postcard that I remember.
I agree.
And then to see all the rocks and stuff that when they were chiseling away, making these faces, they just left the rocks in piles and I don't remember seeing that on any of the postcards.
They cleaned it up a bit.
Yeah. So it was. Yeah,
Did you see it at night? Someone said they lighted it at night.
We didn't see it at night.
I
No,
just
we didn't
wondered
see
if
that.
anyone had.
We went to Grand Canyon. We went to the Black Hills. We went to. Oh.
How about Boulder Dam?
Yes.
That isn't what they call it. Hoover Dam?
That's Hoover Dam. Yeah.
It's Hoover
Lake
Dam
Mead.
now. We did that and they took us clear to the bottom.
Yes.
Yep. It was very
And,
educational.
Since 9/11, I think they've changed some of the way. I don't know if you went there before 9/11
Yes.
or after. And so
Before.
did I. And I think they've changed some of the access to some of that just because of the potential for somebody blowing
Absolutely.
something up. And so, yeah. And as I said, my sister has lived in California for a long time. So we went to visit her and went up and down the coast in California.
That's a nice drive.
It is.
Malibu,
Yep.
all the way
Yeah,
up.
it was
Yes.
really good.
Yes.
Had-
Well, now, when we were at Hoover Dam, they didn't. You couldn't go straight across it. Now you can. drive across it?
I don't know. I really
It's-
don't
I
know
think
what you
that-
can do now.
With us, it stopped in the middle. Cars couldn't go all the way.
Really?
But I read that you can drive all the way across now.
It seems like we were able
We'll have
to
to research
go
that.
across. We
Kevin,
can
look
do
that up.
There he is.
He's our man Friday over there.
Good.
He'll look it up. Yeah, I might be wrong on that, but somewhere on the news or somewhere I saw that.
That could be. That could be.
So-
The longer I live, the more I am confused by some of the changes that happen
Oh, yes.
in our society and our lives and so forth.
It looks like the dam is not open to through traffic.
Oh, it is
okay.
not. I stand corrected. First
Yeah.
time in my life.
That's what I'm seeing
I thought that
from a quick Google search. That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay, thank you,
I thought that
Kevin.
it was open when we went through, and that then they closed it, I think, after 9/11. So, but they changed a lot. So
So do you have a trip today on the Duffy boat? Is that the name of it, Duffy
the
boat?
Duffy boat, yes. I was out today, just
Right.
a test run. It was a test run, and I have someone who's helping me with it,
Good.
and he's doing well. So we're testing it out. He's learning about the boat and all the stuff that there is to learn, and also to learn about the lake. So
Yes,
there's
that's
things
a
to learn
beautiful
about the
lake if you haven't been
It
out
is.
there.
It's a really nice park. It's a nice park.
Well, my
So-
husband worked for Armco, so
Oh, is that right?
we
Oh,
used the
gosh.
park a lot
Yeah,
because it was
when
Armco
when it was
Park.
private, yeah.
And then, of course, he passed, and then
Okay.
we had heard they sold it. We heard Warren County, but that
That's okay.
obvi-
It was called Warren County
yeah.
Armco Park.
It's still a very nice park,
It's a great park. It
and
really
you
is.
can golf there. Do you golf?
No, I don't. I used to when I was younger, but I found that I was maybe a little bit too anxious about time, and it seemed to take too much time.
It did. It does. It
and
does.
to do that. And in my younger years, I always wanted to do other things that took less time.
Yes.
And if I played golf, it would be, you know.
Are you going to the Senior Olympics this year?
I am.
Good.
The choir's going.
Oh, the choir is
Yeah,
going.
the choir, the church choir is going. So we'll be singing at the Senior Olympics. So
Wonderful.
I'll tag along and be a member of that choir and enjoy that. Have you been to St. Mary's?
No, and I'm looking
You should
forward
go.
to it.
You should go. Can you go? Oh, you're
Oh,
going to go as a cheerleader. Do we
And an
tell that?
athlete too. I'm doing both.
Okay.
But yes, the cheerleaders are going to be there, and we've been practicing.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And Tracy called and wants to do a photo shoot with the cheerleaders.
There you go.
So we're setting that up.
You do-
I
you
just
do
keep getting my hands in all kind of things.
And that's good for us. It really is good for us. It's good for us to keep busy and look forward to the next adventure in our lives. You know, no matter what life deals us, good, bad, or ugly, whatever it is, it's always good to look ahead. And if you feel like it, you know, if you're not in a wheelchair or, you know, or you can't get around much, it's good to participate and
Even
Get
for
in-
people in wheelchairs, there's activities for
there is,
them.
There is.
And they have a Senior Olympics in Aurora,
Oh, do they?
but we missed it because we weren't organized. And then
Oh.
they have another one over at Heritage Hall, so maybe next year we can do them too.
Oh, good.
But we weren't ready at that point.
Well, I've heard a lot about your cheerleading group.
Yeah. Oh, are you going to wear short skirts? Are you going to be thrown in the air? I said, no.
No, no
No short-
trampoline, no trampoline acts.
No,
Oh,
no. But
Oh, my
the
God.
girls that are really working hard and they're going to be great and they're so excited about being a cheerleader.
Well, I think it's a great asset, and I think it's a great addition.
What you might do is in June they're going to run the movie Pom Poms,
Oh, is that right?
and it's a great movie. It's mostly
I've
for
heard
women,
about
but I think men would enjoy
Yeah, I've
it.
heard about
And it's about a senior lady that goes into a senior living community, and her girlfriend comes over and says, "Let's start a cheerleader club."
Wow.
So you gotta, if you get
Wow.
a chance, it'll be up at the Starry Night.
Yeah, it's kind of like somebody coming in and saying, "Hey, I want to start a chess club," or something like
Yes.
that, and or do something else, or you know, hibachi. You know, the hibachi grill.
Yes.
You know, that whoever thought about having a hibachi grill or even grilling out down at the Koi Cafe, they call it, and There's just so many new things that have happened since I've been here that are really, they add a lot of value to our lives here.
Oh, absolutely. I've only been here 3 years, so they call me a newbie.
Oh, well, you are.
I'm sort of a newbie.
But you know, there's a lot.
But I've jumped into all kind of stuff.
You have, and I think that's great. Some people just aren't as outgoing as you are. And
I'm shy,
and
don't
that's
you know
okay.
that?
That's true.
Look at
let's
Kevin.
do that. Let's remember that, folks. And Judy is shy. So it's.
Well, you have anything to add?
I think I'm about done,
Well-
unless you have some questions.
I think you've answered everything beautifully.
Oh,
I
great.
like that about the Armco Park and the
Yeah.
trip out west, and
Yeah.
it was
yeah.
great. So, you want to say goodbye to our
Well,
audience?
goodbye, folks. Thank you for having me. It was really a pleasure for me to be here and to be with Judy. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jerry, very much for being here. He's a wonderful guest, and we hope maybe in a year you'll be back
Okay.
and you can have
I'm
new
good.
ideas.
I probably will.
Bye, everybody. See you next
Bye
time.
now.